Welcome everyone to our continuing debate on real estate in India, beyond India's top 6 cities. Last week we had an excellent panel which thrashed out the highlights and drivers of North Indian cities of Lucknow, Jaipur and Chandigarh. And surprisingly we found that it's Lucknow market which is most conducive for real estate investment amongst the three. Policy paralysis at a state level has dampened the Jaipur market, and Chandigarh plus Mohali haven't held up to their potential of bringing in business and commerce. They are largely still driven by NRI investments. This week, we take the debate to West India and will dive deep into cities beyond Mumbai, the big four, Pune, Ahmedabad, Indore and Nagpur. Which of these market is hot? Where is the urbanization process most visible, and where is big business and commerce moving most rapidly? Let me begin with introducing the expert panel to you, which is going to tell us the highlights. Shailesh Puranik, Managing Director, Puranik Builders. Shailesh, thanks very much for joining me today. We've also got Harvesp Mehta, Director, Motilal Oswal Real Estate PE, to bring in a perspective on where the monies will be going. Harvesp, thanks very much. Jatin Gupta, Managing Director, JP ISKCON Limited. Jatin knows the Ahmedabad market inside out, but will also give us perspective of other markets. We've also got Sanjay Bajaj, Managing Director, Pune, Jones Lang LaSalle, India. And in the Delhi studio, Vineet Singh, Business Head, 99acres.com. And of course, Sameer Jasuja, a very well-known face now on this show, CEO and founder of Prop Equity. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being here. I'm going to begin with the Pune market. I mean, who hasn't loved and appreciated Pune for its genteel living? It's not too far below the top 6 cities and rankings as well. In fact, it's well developed, written, spoken about market. And that's why we're going to give it ample time on the show today. Let's start with some statistics. It's the 8th largest metro in India and second to Mumbai in Maharashtra. A McKinsey 2010 report says that GDP at $30 billion makes it the 8th largest economy as well. Well known for software and education sectors, has led to an influx of skilled labor from across India, and it caters to 25% of the land demand in the entire state. What makes Pune so interesting is that it's well connected to the highways, not only to Mumbai, but to a lot of other key cities of India. That's Pune for you, a very popular city by not just people of Maharashtra, of the nation as such. Sanjay, you've always held the belief that there is no city like Pune. So let's start with you. Strengths of Pune first.
So I agree with you. It's probably one of the best cities to live and work in. If I have to give you some of the macroeconomic drivers for Pune, it's a very healthy mix. We've got the office which is booming. So you've got the IT sector which is doing exceedingly well. We also have the manufacturing sector which is doing exceedingly well. And then you've got education. So in that sense, it's very different from other cities, and the offerings are a lot more. Therefore, you have a lot of more migration happening here simply because of the education. A lot of people come here to study, and eventually they end up working and living here. On the office side, the demand stays quite healthy. It's at about 4.2 million square feet per annum. 85% of this office demand is within the ITES space, and 15% is pure corporate office space. So it's quite steady, and since 2009 it's moved up from 2 million square feet to 4.2 million square feet in 2011. First 2 quarters of 2012, the demand has been 2 million square feet. In terms of supply, there is a lot of supply which is projected to come up in the SEZs starting 2013. And from an occupier's perspective, this is very good to note because they can plan the expansions accordingly. On the manufacturing side, if you look at what's happening, most of the growth is around the automobile engineering side. Bajaj Auto and Telco were the first 2 companies that came and set up shop here. And since then, about 4,000 plus ancillaries are there in Pune. Education is yet another driver for the city. And we have, it's popularly known as the Oxford of the East, and you've got many education institutes here that provide the required talent for companies to operate efficiently. You've also got growth on the retail side. You've got about 6 million square feet of organized retail that is coming up in the eastern corridor of the city. And it's a shopper's paradise. It's a dream for ladies to go out and shop over there.
All right, so I got the drift. So you're saying that there's commerce, there's of course auto, IT, retail, just all of these things together are driving growth in Pune. Shailesh Puranik, tell me, how have you viewed the Pune market in terms of a developer? How ripe is it looking? Is it looking like there's an oversupply in that market? What is your perspective?
Yeah, I feel Pune market, there can never be an oversupply, because sheer by the location, it attracts many people which are there from surrounding areas of Pune, and people from Mumbai also view it at a, as a pensioner's paradise, it was always called. So people from Mumbai also want to go to Pune, not only just the periphery of Pune, but far areas of Maharashtra also, people consider Pune as an option for Mumbai city. So I really don't think there is an oversupply happening in Pune, because with the kind of demand that is being offered by Pune and the kind of land availability in Pune, the prices of houses will remain affordable for a longer period of time. It is not like Mumbai. In Mumbai, what happens is there is a limited supply of land. But in Pune, it is always expanding on all 8 sides. And because of that, new land is coming into the market. And because of this, I don't see... though there is a demand and though there is supply, they are always going hand in hand, and you will see affordable housing happening in Pune for a longer period of time.
That's a very interesting point, that Pune is not just for the guys who want to live in Pune, but it also is a hub for a lot of cities around it. Even, I mean, I've known of people who travel every day for work from Pune to Mumbai. Harvesp, I'd like your perspective. When we were discussing North Indian cities and wanted a perspective on whether private equity will go into those tier 2 cities, Pune doesn't fall in that bracket. I mean, private equity has been going into Pune for a long time. It's considered as a tier 1 city. It is amongst the top 8. But what's the appetite for this market amongst PE funds?
The appetite for private equity in Pune will only grow, and there are a few reasons for that. Firstly, let's understand that Pune as a market earlier was a second option for a Mumbaiite. He would first look at whether I should go and purchase in Thane a product, whether I should go and purchase in New Bombay. But today, if you look at the way the prices have moved in Thane and New Bombay, if you look at the infrastructure facilities which have grown between the 2 cities, between Bombay and Pune, it makes a lot of sense for somebody as an end consumer to go and buy into Pune. And therefore, the demand cycle in Pune is shifting and shifting big time. Even the geography of Pune, as Shailesh was mentioning, is completely changing. So for us now, the scope to invest into larger projects, into projects which are self-sustaining townships, not necessarily 100 acres, it could be 20, 25 acres. There the opportunity is great, because the end consumer today is looking at Pune very differently than how he would have looked at it some time back. Like even today in Pune, if I could buy a good house at say 3.5, 4.5, 5,000 rupees a foot, that's the price where I'll not find anything even in Thane, even in New Bombay that I'd like. So then why not travel maybe an hour extra, go to a major city? I always have my links with Bombay, and buy a property. So the demand perspective in Pune is changing. I think the microeconomics for Pune as a city in terms of its expansion is changing, and that's providing a huge amount of opportunity for us to look at Pune market very seriously, much more seriously than what we would have looked at it maybe a couple of years back.
That's very interesting, Sameer. PE investors are going to be looking. Some of the large deals that we've known of are happening in the Pune market. International investors or big names have also looked at that market very closely. But there seems to be a bit of an oversupply, at least on the commercial space, because hotels, for example, made a beeline for that market. And I know that they're all battling with low occupancy. So, great market. But I think just because there's just too many people positive or gung-ho on that market, it's a case of an over-enthusiasm, over-zeal?
Well, if you look at it from a commercial point of view, there is oversupply clearly. And because Pune offers affordable commercial supply or rentals, many companies have moved there, but there is unlimited supply according to me from a commercial point of view. And that's why hotels also today, because land was available so cheap, a lot of people saw a lot of employment generation happening, a lot of IT companies coming in, and they thought that we have this herd mentality. So every hotel started to come there, and now there is an oversupply in the hotel side also.
Huge. Right.
But if you interestingly look at the residential side of things, this Pune is one of the very few markets that offers affordable, mid, and even now today luxury housing. So across the spectrum, you have small projects and you have huge townships. So PE funds actually get a lot of supply to see, lot of developers, highest number of developers perhaps in India would be in Pune. The other thing that I would like to share with you is because the whole Maharashtra government focuses in Mumbai and giving clearances to Mumbai projects, Pune somehow
I thought there were no clearances being given to Mumbai projects.
That's what I'm saying. So all the focus is not giving clearances to Mumbai, so the projects in Pune just get cleared very quickly. And that's when you see that the supply in Pune, completed supply from 2010 is doubling from 26,000 units to 55,000 units, when the pricing has gone up from 2,000 rupees a square feet to 4,000 rupees a square feet.
So pricing, so there has been an appreciation. It's been a robust market.
There has been a phenomenal
residential and commerce, or just residential?
I would say only residential. Commercial has been stabilized because there is oversupply, but absorption does take place over there. So there's a lot of private equity monies coming in with respect to completed buildings and buying ready properties over there.
All right, so let me just read out. I'm going to get Vineet's reaction because 99 acres will have their own data points. But here's the Pune market, year-on-year price appreciation. If you look at Q109 to Q2012, you do see an 18 to 20% annualized growth. The impressive growth is driven by the rapid development of IT hubs, which is something that Sanjay from Jones Lang LaSalle actually highlighted. Regions such as Pimpri Chinchwad and Harvesp have done very well. Growth has also been supplemented by auto hub like Chakan. The growth in IT, auto and education has pushed property prices in this region. Now let's come to the supply situation, which is something that Samir mentioned here. Pune will witness a supply for over 55,000 units in 2012. There has been a drastic fall in supply at about 42,000 units in 2013. I mean, that's the data for future. There will be some fall there. So if you look at the units supplied, 42,634, an average monthly takeoff, inventory overhang, all looking like very good figures. So it's a market which is looking fairly robust amongst all the metros of India. Vineet, would you agree that the data points, the industry growth, whether it's IT, auto, all of it, education being so high as well in that city, the number of educated people being so high, all of it is good dynamics, solid dynamics for real estate going forward?
Yeah, I think so. All the data, all the statistics provide towards a very, very stable and strong real estate market in Pune, let's say, for the coming years. In terms of data, around 8.16% of our traffic is from Pune, okay, or Pune-related properties. That makes Pune our fourth biggest market. But in terms of revenue, it is not the...
people looking for property?
Yes, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
That's a very interesting data.
After Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune is our fourth biggest market in terms of traffic, number of searches. But it is not fourth biggest in terms of number of revenues. In terms of the kind of properties that get advertised in Pune, asking rates, I think around 60% of the inventory or what people are looking for is in the sweet spot of 20 to 50 lakh kind of price budget kind of properties.
So it's still a market which is, like everybody's saying, a little affordable, still not out of pocket. 20 to 50 lakhs is pretty much a 35-year-old early IT professionals
buying the first house,
for buying
the first house, or somebody buying their first investment house or second home or something like that. And if you look at what people are asking for in terms of queries, leads that are getting generated, close to 60% of leads are also in this sweet spot of price band of 20 to 50 lakhs.
So 20 to 50 lakhs.
So the market is not in trouble, but because yes, supply precedes demand. So people look at what people are looking for, what price point people are willing to buy their properties, and that's why builders customize their projects and launch those kind of projects. In the 2008 slowdown, a lot of 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom flats, those projects got converted to 2 or 2.5 kind of bedrooms so that there could be offtake. So in terms of that, good robust market, but the time has come for Pune to reinvent itself because of the huge development that is going to happen in the next decade or so in Thane and the new Navi Mumbai side.
All right. Sanjay, your take in terms of Pune's infrastructure development, I mean, whether you look at the BRTS or you look at the new airport, somewhere I get the sense that the infra development hasn't been, or at least the sense I get is that people are a little unhappy with the local bodies when it comes to just the development of infrastructure.
So, a couple of points from my side. First is one needs to understand that Pune is not a state capital. Unlike most of the cities that you've been talking about or have been covering our state capitals, but despite that, Pune is doing exceedingly well. On the infrastructure side, I would definitely agree with you. A few initiatives in the offing. First one is the metro is being planned, phase 1, but we've been hearing about this for quite some time. Finally, we've been given to understand that the sanctions are in place and the metro is now underway. Second one is what can actually be done for the city is, as a short-term solution, would be to improve the bus transportation. If the BRTS comes in and is effectively used, a lot of options would be available for people commuting to work, and that would sort of make life much easier. Third is as regards the international airport. We again were told that the international airport was first coming around Chakan, then Rajguru Nagar. Unfortunately, land acquisition and other problems have kept this particular project on hold so far. We do hope that this comes through quickly. However, for us, a real sweetener would be if the Panvel airport comes up. Simply because if the Panvel airport does see the light of the day, which I think most approvals are in place, then for someone from Pune commuting to Panvel and someone from Navi Mumbai, say South Mumbai commuting to Panvel would take the same time. So that's our international airport, which looks round the corner.
All right. So, Sajid, give me 3 locations in Pune which would be your favorite in terms of upcoming emerging destinations. Just the names.
For residential, if it is for residential, I would say Wagholi is up and coming simply because it's in the growth corridor. It's down the Nagar Road area. So definitely there's a lot of retail over there, the offices are over there are schools over there. So Wagholi is in the growth corridor and has a potential upside. Second is Harvesp continues to remain a very strong and favorable market. And third would be more around Wakad, which is just short of Hinjewadi, where most of the development is taking place in the western corridor, where most of the offices are. So these are my 3 picks.
Sabi, would you agree? Vineet has already said the sweet spot on pricing, so the emerging destinations.
I would just add Kharadi to it as well.
Kharadi to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the, but I'm just going to list out some of the upcoming locations as a whole: west, north, west, and this is the IT and auto hub. There's Banir, there's Balewadi, there's Sutarwadi, Pashan and Aund, which are coming up. Northeast, IT BPO and white goods hub, Karadi, Ramwadi, Vadgaon, Sherry, Logaon, Pankuti, Kalyani Nagar and Yeravada. There's also the south and southeast corridor. There's Hadaspar, Ramtekadi. There's also Mohammadawadi, Kondawada, and there are a couple of other locations, and the rest are also going to come up on your screen. Shailesh Puranik, any immediate expansion plans in the Pune market before we wrap up this part of the country?
Yeah, I just had, I completely agreed with the 2 gentlemen in Delhi, what they're talking about. Only objection I had is, they're talking about the permissions are given to Pune and they're not going to Bombay. I have projects happening in Mumbai, Thane, Pune and other areas also. And the state of affairs is same everywhere. So I just wanted to make a point here that Pune also is similar. Permissions are difficult to come by. What you are seeing, a good supply coming into market is a percentage or a fraction of the permissions which are been applied for. And the permissions which are applied for in Pune are much more than what the permissions are applied for in Mumbai. So I agree in that way that, there are a lot of supply coming up as vis-a-vis compared to Mumbai. But geographically, Pune is a very, very big area. That's why you see such big numbers happening in Pune. But on the infrastructure front, on permissions front, it is not much different from Mumbai or Thane or other areas. Expansion plan, yes, you can have better expansion plans for Pune than Mumbai or Thane, simply because, as I mentioned, it's a geographically very, very large area. I personally feel Mumbai, Pune shortly would become, in the near future, will become one big metropolis, and whatever the 2 international airports are planned, one near Mumbai or one near Pune, they can suffice with one airport, which is the Raja airport, maybe a New Bombay airport, which will suffice to both the cities as well. So yes, expansion plan, you should plan for expansion in Pune, and there is no doubt about it.
Okay, very interesting point, Shailesh. And we're going to wrap the Pune market. We could continue to talk for the rest of the 40 minutes on the show as well about Pune, but we've got to wrap here. So this markets look, at least from a residential point of view, looks very stable. Should continue to give 15% plus sort of returns.
I'm not too sure about that. What Vineet said now is that the main demand is coming from 20 to 50 lakhs. And now we are actually surpassing those price points at 4,000 rupees.
Price points are getting expensive.
So now it's getting really expensive. So I think the growth is going to slow down in Pune because affordability is not going to be there with respect to properties above 4,000 rupees a square feet to 5,000. Now you have actually in Pune new launches of luxury properties happening between 10,000 to 15,000 rupees a square feet, which was completely unheard of in Pune.
Terrible Gurgaon market.
No, if you look at if you look at last year data, the three main localities of Hinjewadi, Kharadi, and Wagholi, the price increase that has happened, capital price appreciation, is above 20%. So it's very, very healthy price appreciation. Wakad is around 16%.
Okay.
So this is as per asking rates.
So word of caution there that it is a price sensitive market, and as properties get more expensive in Pune, you may see some slowdown or actually moderation in terms of what appreciation you could get. But overall, the market still looks robust. Private equity investors want to put their money in. Builders want to be, developers want to be there, and of course there are enough jobs getting created in that market for the end user demand to come in. We'll come back and we're going to look at a city from vibrant Gujarat, that's Ahmedabad. That's a market that we haven't delved very deep into. So lots of qualitative and quantitative points will come up. You keep watching. Cities of West India worth your money. That's what we're looking at when it comes to property. We've already touched and looked at Pune. We're now going to move to Ahmedabad. We reel out some statistics which look very interesting. The gross domestic product of Ahmedabad was estimated at $59 billion in 2010, the seventh largest amongst the top 10 cities in India. So it's actually ahead of Pune. The city established itself as a home of a developing textile industry, which earned it the nickname of Manchester of the East and went on to become the largest supplier of denim and one of the largest exporters of gemstones and jewelry in India. Apart from these, chemicals and pharmaceutical industries contribute to the state's economic growth, with two of the biggest pharmaceutical companies of India, Zydus Cadila and Torrent Pharmaceuticals, are based here. And of course, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport is located about 15 kilometers from the city centre, serves both as a domestic and international for international flights from Ahmedabad and also the neighbouring cities of Gujarat. So it's a market which has seen a lot of action in the recent times. There's absolutely no doubt about it. In fact, you keep reading newspaper reports which turn around and tell you that property prices have gone up by, let's say, 18%, 20%, and if you look at land reforms, they do have a zero litigation record. That's the beauty of Ahmedabad. In property tax reforms, they've set a zero litigation record. I'm first going to go across to our guest, Jatin Gupta. He is the Managing Director, JP ISKCON Limited, who knows this market inside out. Jatin, thanks very much for joining in. I think we're going to start with the city has managed to get and push that big brand of vibrant Gujarat. So tell us what's going for it.
Well, if you look at Ahmedabad, I think vibrant Gujarat has played a very important role in the progress of Gujarat as well as Ahmedabad. I think the government initiative has helped everyone in Gujarat, and if you look at the Ahmedabad market, the growth has been mainly due to the infrastructure provided by the Gujarat government. I think the road network has been fantastic. Power supply is very good in Gujarat, as well as water supply and other civic amenities are the best in Gujarat. As far as residential is concerned, I think the pricing is very important, and pricing in Ahmedabad market is much lower compared to any other city in India. And still the quality of construction and the living standards in Ahmedabad is much better to most of the cities in India. I think that is why Ahmedabad has seen a growth rate of about 20-25% hike in the property prices in the last 2 years or so. And even if you look at the GDP growth in India was about 7% last year, but Gujarat has managed to have a GDP growth of 13%. And because of vibrant Gujarat, there have been a lot of investments happening in Gujarat. The first being major of its kind was Nano, and after that there are a lot of automobile industries which have had their focus in Gujarat, and Ahmedabad is considered to be the next Detroit of India. I think these investments
Harvesp, what's your
really
point of
helped
view
Ahmedabad.
on Ahmedabad? Will the PE money move in? Because, I mean, if you look at the 5 Vibrant Gujarat Meets, billion-dollar MOU signed, how much of it has really translated? There's no data to support that. But from a fund perspective, is Ahmedabad a market that excites you?
Ahmedabad is a very, very different market. Actually, from a fund perspective, we put Ahmedabad in a very different league than something like Pune. Because firstly, for Pune, it's for us, it's not tier 1, tier 2. It's essentially about the twin cities. For example, as you mentioned earlier, you could drive down, work in Bombay or Pune and drive down either ways. You can't do that in Ahmedabad. So the demand drivers for Ahmedabad would essentially come from Ahmedabad. Secondly, Ahmedabad is a market where genuinely even we as funds are trying to understand the supply situation. As you said, billion-dollar MOUs. So we see 600, 700, 500 acre townships being launched. What's going to happen to that kind of supply? And that's just a few groups. Forget the huge number of local developers that are there. Another point being that Ahmedabad being a market dependent on the local economy, how much of this price rise, how much of this price increase will it sustain? So the margin for error today, or the margin to make a call on the price movement, is a little bit more difficult. So Ahmedabad is a good market from a local perspective. Yes, if Gujarat continues to shine, Ahmedabad continue to do well. But from an investment perspective, from a fund or even an individual investment perspective, I think the challenge is whether you can enter at price points today, which will give you, at least not give you a degrowth from here on. So it's a very challenging market, very different from something like a Pune, which is a twin city, and will keep growing with the commercial capital around it growing.
Harvesp, you're saying this very politely that right now you're not interested in the Ahmedabad market and not too many funds are, isn't it?
Yes, that's true.
All right. Shailesh, from a developer's point of view, it's, definitely not the twin city, but I'm sure Ahmedabad is on your radar as well. I mean, look at the big names and the large integrated townships, are coming up there. There's Godrej Garden City, there's Adani, there's just several names. So what's your gut feel about Ahmedabad?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Ahmedabad as a city is definitely attracting to us, and it's definitely on our radar. There is no doubt about it. And also from the regulatory perspective, Ahmedabad is more attractive compared to some of the other cities we discussed earlier. My only worry is, as Hardeep just now said, it's regarding the asset price bubble. When a city is growing, and if there's only local demand and there is no other demand coming from other sources, which in case of Pune is Mumbai, or other parts of Maharashtra, I'm not so sure about Ahmedabad. And because it is, it is on the radar, we are in fact discussing this in our show. There are many people who are going to get attracted. Many people are going to be wanting to come to Ahmedabad to do business. And I'm not so sure, because real estate being a local market, with so many players coming into the market, so many big townships planned, and the land rates shooting up, then ultimately are there enough margins there in Ahmedabad which are left for the developers like us, which I am not so sure about. But yes, it's definitely on our radar, and we are keeping a keen, close watch on the developments.
This is very interesting, and your data also, Sameer, supports the fact that it's largely an end user from the region which is driving this market, and therefore there is no surrounding population which is going to come and live in Ahmedabad, isn't it?
I agree with you, but I want to make a few interesting points with Ahmedabad. First of all, what I have noticed across India is that appreciation of real estate has happened where knowledge workers have actually migrated and where maximum knowledge workers have actually been working over there. Ahmedabad is a blue-collared worker kind of a city.
Absolutely.
If you look at it from that point of view, right?
They think a job is demeaning. They need to do business and make money. It's the most entrepreneurial
there are auto hubs getting created. There is this pharmaceutical. There is no ITES or financial services that is happening.
English is not a strong
hold. So the Gujarat government is now focusing on gift and everything else. Till that doesn't become really successful, I don't think prices are going to move very quickly over there. The other interesting point I want to make to you is here there is complete political stability, the best infrastructure, and yet prices are not moving at the pace where the infrastructure is not as great as Pune is, or for that matter Mumbai or Gurgaon.
But I must say the roads of Ahmedabad are fantastic.
Absolutely.
The transformation of that city is so amazing, and single window clearance, and that's perhaps the reason why, despite the fact that they don't see demand today, integrated townships or developers like Godrej are making a beeline, because just the process of launching a project there is so much easier than any other state in this country, isn't it, Vineet?
No, that is true, but there is a flip side to it as well. There are a lot of local small developers. A lot of trading happens at the land stage or at the pre-launch stage. So by the time the formal launch happens, the price has already, 2-3 tradings have already happened in that particular project. Plus, it is a local area, local demand, local buyers, highly indexed to stock market performance. So last 1 year, the market has been under pressure. But the big fact about Ahmedabad, which is a big positive, is that 2009 to 2012, it is the second biggest market in terms of real estate returns after Chennai. So it has delivered the best returns. But last 6-8 months, I think the market has been under pressure. Our data shows that almost for every locality, the price is negative as of now. So the investors are finding it difficult to exit. They have to hold on to their properties. And the new launches, the prices are stable. They are stagnating, the prices. So prices, future outlook, I think prices will stagnate till the new plants or new industries that are supposedly getting set up, they become operational.
And there's huge speculation in and around areas where auto industries are supposed to be coming up.
Even a township, integrated township is announced and suddenly land prices go up. So there's a lot of investor element built in it. Jatin, would you agree with that, that, you know, just a bit of oversupply situation happening when it comes to residential, the large integrated townships, where's the demand going to come from? Is that something that worries you as well?
I would not exactly say that there is a lot of oversupply, because there are only 3 townships which are coming up in Ahmedabad or in surrounding. And I think the Ahmedabad market is capable enough to just meet the demands. And the main thing is that we are talking about IT, but in Gandhinagar there's a GIFT city which is coming up, and that's an initiative by the government, and there are a lot of IT companies which have shown their interest to come in Gujarat. So I think Ahmedabad, we are banking at IT coming into Ahmedabad in the next 1 or 2 years, and that is probably going to give rise to demand in housing as well as the office sector. And Ahmedabad also is very self-sustaining. So we have a lot of end users in Ahmedabad. So that is the reason why we feel that the supply should not be
Except that the end user also is a trader. Typically, and by basic nature of that city, I think they would all like to make a quick buck wherever they can, whether it's a stock market. And this is, of course, good ethics. I say that it's a good ethic practice as well, because they like to make money and they just have it as a basic passion. Let me just take you through some of the data points here. Lots of data points, but just this chart. Appreciation, if you look at Q1 2009 to Q1 2012, Prop Equity says that there has been an appreciation year on year in residential of 18% plus, large base of end users, even though they might be investors themselves, or actually the local population which is investing and partly buying for end use. There's also an oversupply. If you look at regions, a little bit in the western part of the city, in the anticipation of industrial growth in Sanand and InfoCity in Gandhinagar. So these are some of the oversupply areas you need to be careful of. Prices may appreciate much more moderately going forward. That is something that Vineet's also looked at and highlighted. If you look at the supply on completion of projects, there's going to be a huge oversupply in the market. 20,000 units remain unsold.
8,000 is going up to 20. No, this is not unsold actually. This is completed stock coming into the city.
All right.
So this is from there were about 8,000 units that got built in 2011, and now this year you're actually going to see 23,000 units getting built over here. So there is going to be an oversupply with respect to completed stock. So if investors are holding that, then this situation may become very interesting, and new launches prices may start to come down.
All right. The region, though, just like Pune, is going to see a drop in supply in 2013. That's very curious.
But that's very marginal. If you were to compare it to 2010-11, which is 5,000, 8,000, still gone up threefold to 17,000. So it's a lot.
So it's a lot of supply for this region. Inventory overhang is about 17 months, which is not dangerous. As of now, we say under 24 months is kind of safe. So the emerging areas of this locality, that's Ahmedabad city, will keep coming up on your screen. Any favorites you would say, Vineet? I mean, does your data point out to where a lot of buying is happening?
Basically, my favorite is a large, you can say, subsidy kind of an area, which I call the SG highway and surroundings. So investors, depending upon their risk appetite and budget size, they can pick up a lot of localities in this area and take their pick. As of now, you can find investors who are in dire straits. Okay, and you can pick up good projects from them, because our data shows that in some localities the asking rate is almost 20% less than what the rate was a year back.
And what's the medium ticket size which gets sold very fast in this market?
Basically, again, the sweet spot across India is the same except for Mumbai, which is around 20 to 50 lakhs.
20 to 50 lakhs.
So 30 to 50 lakhs is a sweet spot. Almost 50% of supply and demand exists in that kind of a price bracket.
All right, let me also get Jatin's view. Jatin, what according to you would be the best places to invest in property in Ahmedabad? I mean, amongst the upcoming localities?
I think the best localities to invest in Ahmedabad would be the western part of Ahmedabad, which is South Bhopal and Ghuma areas, because those areas are coming up in a very big way. And the prices are very affordable as of now, because it range from about 3,000 rupees to 3,500 rupees a square feet. And one of the other areas is Gota area in Ahmedabad, where I feel that the investments are better.
Fair enough. Two trends you've noticed in Ahmedabad market as we conclude.
So integrated township development is a new trend being witnessed, and all reputed developers are now launching very large townships. Lastly, there are second home destinations that are emerging, especially Nal Sarovar and Thol. So that was never there before. You never had second home destinations, absolutely. And now they're enjoying it.
Ahmedabad, great city to live in. I've lived there. So we're going to wrap up the discussion here. Shailesh Puranik, thanks very much for joining us here on the show and getting your perspective on Pune and Ahmedabad has been extremely a big value add for the show. Don't go anywhere. Our panel continues with us. We'll come back to look at the cities of Nagpur and Indore in just a minute. A majority of this country's people are far more comfortable investing in real estate than any other asset class and are constantly scouting around for opportunities across India. Not everyone, though, can afford a ticket size of ₹1 crore plus. That's where India's Tier 2 cities come into focus. These have become high-growth corridors for the real estate sector. In our continuing series of looking at India's booming cities beyond the Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Bangalore, Kolkata, today we are thrashing out the growing markets of Western India. And the lens now is on Nagpur and Indore. Panelists are Harvesp Mehta, Director Motilal Oswal Real Estate P, Jatin Gupta, MD JP ISKCON, Vineet Singh, Business Head of 99acres.com and Sameer Jasuja, Founder and CEO of Prop Equity. Let me just set perspective on Nagpur. That's the city we're going to look at first. It has a unique position as a geographical center of India. It's also touted as the largest middleweight city in India. It's a curious name, but I think very apt. Third largest city in the state of Maharashtra after Mumbai and Pune. Nagpur metropolitan area ranks as the 13th largest urban conglomerate. Home to one of Asia's largest industrial estates, that's Butibori. 6,000 hectares. The city is important also from the banking point of view, because it actually houses the regional office of Reserve Bank of India. Needs at least 50,000 such small dwellings to cater to the housing needs of low-income groups. That's also some of the data. I'm going to actually come to you, Sameer, first on Nagpur. What's happening in this market?
So Nagpur actually is predominantly a local investor-driven market, although 25% of the investments come from NRIs over here, which is interesting. The sudden decline in property prices in 2010 was largely due to the slow execution of the infrastructure initiatives that were planned around the international airport and Mihan SEZ. You know, and the prices actually have picked up beyond 2010 because on the anticipation that these areas will get developed. But there were many IT companies who came there, signed contracts, thought of launching their IT parks, but then just slowed down. And I sense again there is not enough knowledge workers out there for them to be able to execute their plans over there. That's a problem that we're facing in tier 2 cities in a big way. You can get up to the first 100,000 people, but after that there's a huge problem. That is one of the basic reasons why I think Nagpur hasn't grown. It's just grown about 6% over the last 2 years.
Only 6%.
On a year-on-year basis, basically.
So these are the data points actually. If you look at price appreciation, Q1 2009 to Q1 2012, just 6% appreciation annualized. It's predominantly a local investor-driven market, and 25% of these investments come from NRIs. Look at a sudden decline in property prices here as well in 2010, pardon me, largely due to, as Sameer pointed out, slow execution of infrastructure initiatives at Mihan, and residential prices picked up post 2010 with housing demand over Higna Road and City pushed the prices a little bit upwards. Now, what's the supply situation? Supply in Nagpur in 2012 jumped to over 100% with development picking up pace. It will also see maximum supply hitting the region in 2013, unlike some other markets where we've actually seen some supply falling in 2013. That's not what's happening actually to Nagpur. Harvesp, what's your view on Nagpur? It's still, I think, a market that is not going to be on the radar of PE investors for a long time. But overall, do you think it's a market which has disappointed you a bit?
It's been a very interesting market. I think a lot of the players, including us, have been looking at that market for a while, simply because you get a lot of proposals from this region. Also, because of the fundamentals that you mentioned. But as we know, and as you mentioned, Buttibori being one of the largest industrial parks hasn't taken off. So the blue collar and the manufacturing piece hasn't come through in Nagpur. Now, everybody is looking forward to Mihan, and that again has been a story for a while. It really hasn't taken off, but there's no verdict out on that. So essentially, if Mihan takes off, due to whatever reason, prices are correcting. So if it becomes really attractive for the industry and for people to go out there, and Mihan takes off, then yes, then it's a market which most funds would look at seriously, because it has got some of the ingredients in terms of, Mihan was planned as the central hub for all your cargo logistic operations, being the center point of the country, so on and so forth. So it's a market which we cannot ignore. But single point, Mihan has to take off, and then most investors and funds will look at it seriously.
That's the biggest disappointment, that Mihan hasn't taken off. What's the data pointing to? Seems to be a lot of supply coming in, but no takers for it. So market looks like it's going to continue to give you low returns, 5-6%, when the rest of India has done very well in the same period.
Yeah, my advice to investors will be have a long 5+ year kind of a perspective. Almost 40% of the total, you can say, supply is in the 10 to 20 lakh kind of a bracket as of now, and the remaining 60, another, you can say 35% is in the 20 to 40 lakh, 20 to 50 lakh kind of a price bracket. The demand is also in a similar kind of a price band, and rates have increased historically because of these promises that great things are going to happen in infrastructure, and Airbus or Boeing was supposed to set up a large facility there which will employ 50,000 people and other stuff. I think what cities like Nagpur are lacking is that yes, you can launch interesting, very lucrative real estate projects to get industry on board. But if you don't have the local supply of manpower for these companies, then and if these companies have to export manpower from other cities, then you got to market yourself as a cosmopolitan place to live as well. So I think this is where these cities are losing out.
There's a little bit of a de-link. I mean,
so as Sameer rightly pointed out,
they're not able to keep their young back, number one, and they're not able to attract fresh young population.
Yeah. But some of the branded projects like Mahindra Lifespace, Firearker, which is a PE funded project, they have done reasonably well there. And they launched at the right time. They launched at the right time in 2009, and these projects have done well. But I don't think anybody has big plans of doing large projects or sustained projects at regular intervals in this market. The market seems to be taking a breather as of now.
But Mahindra did go to Nagpur, and very recently they announced a project there. So essentially, what do you think is driving developers into the market? Just the fact that there's availability of land at an affordable price, which is now becoming more and more of a problem in any of the large cities?
Yeah, I think this is clearly an affordable market. The weighted average price of the market is around 2,000 rupees a square feet. Right, land is available. I would still think cheap for people to be able to launch, developers to be launch projects around 2,000 rupees a square feet, and there is enough end user demand, I would say, from affordable markets such as Nagpur, you really lose the breadth of the market in the first 10-15 cities with respect to high absorption numbers.
The market in Nagpur has been slow. We are hoping that the branded players, as they get in, will change the market a little bit, but essentially it's going to be just industry growth which is going to make it grow faster, or at least give you higher appreciation than the 6% that we've been seeing since 2009. We'll come back and look at another market where national developers, big names, have made a beeline, and that's Indore, when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Realty Debate, and we are focusing on Tier 2 cities of Western India. Let's put the lens on Indore, commercial capital of Madhya Pradesh and the only city in India. This is a curious fact which houses both an IIM and an IIT. That's Indian Institute of Management and Indian Institute of Technology, both premier institutes. What's happening to Indore is there's a cosmopolitan nature which is emerging amongst the population, diverse range of people who have settled here, and now Indore is very often referred to as mini Mumbai. It's also become a hotbed of real estate development with large national players making a beeline for this market. Jadeen Gupta, I'm going to come to you. Madhya Pradesh government said that they're going to focus on Indore, invest about 2 lakh crore in developing infrastructure there. What's your own viewpoint? I mean, why is Indore attracting so many national developers?
Well, I think that, as you rightly said, Indore is the financial capital of Madhya Pradesh. And because of its nature of cosmopolitan crowd, I see a lot of people spending in malls over there. I think that the spending capacity in Indore has gone up. And Madhya Pradesh government feels that Indore is this right city wherein the growth can really be very, very good in the coming years. So I think that there are a lot of incentives which have been given by the state government to Indore, and I also feel that the ring road and other roads are also coming up in a very, very big way in Indore.
Lots of national developers making a beeline for that market because land is cheap but not coming out with...
Not even a single developer has launched a group housing project. And everybody sold off plots over there.
That's so it's a... investor market, isn't it?
Yes,
a hugely
really,
investor-driven market. There isn't that much of industry right now. We need to actually drive end-user demand.
That is true. I think Indore lost the plot a bit in terms of industrialization and getting industry to the state. Maybe now they feel that they can play catch-up to Ahmedabad. And Ahmedabad technically is a decade behind because of we all know what happened there.
Right.
So I think otherwise by now maybe Gujarat would have been developing a second city, maybe a Baroda or a Surat or something like that. So I think Indore is trying to play catch-up. Maybe it wants to become the next Ahmedabad kind of a destination. Plus I think the developers learned from their small mistakes or big mistakes in other North Indian cities and other North Indian markets. And here they didn't try to cash in too much and launch multi-storied apartments, as Samir rightly said. And here they are doing simple execution. They are selling plots. There are enough, the ticket size is very, very affordable. Even if they double the rates, the ticket size is 20 lakhs and you can buy a 500 square yard plot in under 20 lakhs. So I think that is what is exciting investors a lot.
About this market. So investor-driven market, year-on-year price appreciation. Let me show you this. Q1 2009 to Q1 2012, a little over 18%. It's a local investor-driven market, though the questions that we get on our property show seems that there is an increasing appetite for this market across the country. It has led to a steady rise in prices, as the charts show. Various infrastructure initiatives have been announced along the Super Corridor and the AB bypass. These are the two areas that Samir also mentioned, and that's where all the big developers are also going, right?
I'd like to make a point here. You know, they've announced a 2,000-acre SEZ over there, and Indore has taken 10 years to build one IT park, and they've only leased out 1.4 lakh square feet. So I don't know what's going to happen about that too. And that's why prices have gone up in anticipation, hoping that this IT park will get developed and there'll be more employment and there'll be knowledge workers over there. But it's a very long-term bet, and prices have caught up already in some respect. Although the base is still very low, but if that IT SEZ doesn't take off the way many IT SEZs haven't taken off in the country, we have some trouble brewing there.
All right, I'm going to end then the discussion with the supply figures of this market. What's that looking like? And that's prop equity data. Leading developers which have ventured into this market, as I just spelled out, impressive supply in 2012, but unsold stock is about 4090, and if you just look at the inventory overhang, it's quite a lot, 18 months. So a lot of supply, mostly of plotted developments, but a market that you need to be careful of. The appetite that you've seen over the last 2 to 3 years may not actually continue in the future till you have the SEZs getting occupied and the IT parks also getting rented out. We're going to conclude there. Gentlemen, thanks very much for joining me here. Harvesp, Jatin, pleasure to have you on the show with us. Vineet and Sameer, great inputs on this discussion and debate on Tier 2 cities of Western India. 70% job opportunities will be generated in India's top 15 cities, and that's the reason we will continue to bring you in-depth analysis of real estate of cities where urbanization and economic growth will drive property development. Let us know the city on your list, and our research team will get down to the work and bring you the best analysis. Goodbye, and thanks for joining me on the show today.